Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to shoot a product commercial like this right in the comfort of your home. So for this video, we're going to go through mainly two areas of production, which is pre-production and during production, the actual shooting. This is because the editing for this video is pretty simple, so we're just going to stick with those two for now. Okay, so pre-production is actually pretty important. A lot of people kind of overlook pre-production because it doesn't seem as fun or as glamorous. But actually it should be the other way around, because pre-production is really, really important, especially for like product commercials where you have to kind of think how you want the look of the product to be, or how you want the audience to feel when watching it, and how do you want to incorporate the music or the sound to it. Because you're not actually directing any actors, you're directing like a product and the motion, you really do have to plan out a lot of things beforehand. And that's why pre-production is actually so important, and it's where most of the work happens. Okay, so step number one is actually to take a look at creative references. This could be YouTube, this could be Vimeo, this could be like Facebook. So wherever you've seen a piece of content that inspires you to create a product commercial, take those in, and like I would say try and pick like 3 or 4 which you think are really, really good. So I really liked the Budweiser King of Beers commercial because it was so simple yet so effective. It made the beer look epic, and it kind of makes you really want to drink it because of how they set up the scene, how they set up the product. So I think I took a lot of inspiration from there. And I really like 2001 A Space Odyssey, so I took the soundtrack from that and kind of mix them together to create this video that you just saw. So I think the key takeaway is that find a few references which you think are really strong, and then kind of blend them together and have something in the back of your mind of what you want. So these references are really important. So the second thing is actually to find tutorials for the technical side. So we got one from Indie Mogul as well as Aperture. You can look these up on YouTube. So they got some really good tutorials there, and like a lot of our lighting stuff, we actually learn it from there. So I think the key thing here is to be open to learning, because these guys are really good, and they kind of make it possible of like how with limited equipment, how can you create a high budget kind of look, or like a higher end kind of look. And that's the one we want to go for a product commercial. The third step is try to start finding a track. So I think because a product commercial is actually quite short, the track is quite important. I would say it's about 50% of like the whole kind of at-home commercial thing. So yeah, like for this one, for the Who Garden commercial, we were quite clear on what we wanted. We wanted that classical epic feel, so we picked that track right from the beginning. Once you have your track, you know how to cut the video in your mind. So the next part is actually to storyboard it. Basically screenshot like different videos or like still frames that you like, piece them together to create kind of a flow of like the commercial. This is important because it really saves you a lot of time when shooting. It also makes sure that you don't forget shots that are crucial to the whole commercial. You know exactly what you need. You don't have to waste time thinking, oh, what's the next shot? Oh, how do I set up the next shot? What's it gonna look like? You already have it in your mind. You have it like on a piece of paper or like on your laptop. So the next step is actually production. Assuming you got all your ingredients and everything's ready. So the first step for production is actually to set up the scene. So it's pretty straightforward. I think the key here is that once you're at home, most of us don't have a really cool backdrop. A lot of us do have a TV at home. The advantage is that it's really versatile. You can kind of change every single color. So you can get blue for our case, or you can get like all these other different colors that you can get on your laptop. You can just put it on a screen and now you have a really cool backdrop. So I think that's pretty cool for like an at-home solution. the second step you want to do is actually to frame your shot. So because you're most likely a one-man crew at home, you're very likely to just put it on a tripod. Shooting it handheld while pouring the beer, or like shooting it handheld while making something happen in the scene, is really, really hard. So tripod's the way to go. Or if you have like a slider, automatic slider, that's really, really cool as well. Or if you just have a tripod, you can just digitally crop in. That's a pretty cool effect as well. So I use that for the final shot as well, and I think it's pretty effective for those on a budget without a slider. That effect works just as well. It's just a matter of like how you can work with your limitations. I think the next thing is to make sure you know what settings you want for your camera. So the idea for a lot of product commercials is slow motion and epic. So for ours, we shot at 120 frames per second, and you know, in our case, shutter speed was 240. Because you're shooting at 120 frames per second, you need a lot of light to light the product, which means that if your lights aren't so powerful, you kind of have to jack up the ISO for the camera. I shoot with a Blackmagic Pocket 4K, where it's a dual ISO thing, and then I can get really clean image at 1250 ISO. So that's really cool. I think Sony mirrorless cameras can do really well in low light as well. End of the day, just know your camera and know whether or not at high ISOs it can be clean. If not, you just gotta use faster lenses. So once you're framed up, the camera's ready, the next step is actually to light the scene. This can get pretty technical. So the first light was our key light on the right side, and then we flagged it to create really straight kind of reflections. On the back, we added another soft light, kind of backlighting it and filling in any shadows. And to really illuminate the bottle itself, I set up a small little quasar just behind the bottle to kind of illuminate the liquid inside. So it's kind of like a 3-point lighting actually. For whatever product that you're shooting, it's these really small finishing touches which are quite important, and just make sure to research it, like how to make the product look extra good. So for our beer bottle, to make it look as if it's sweating, as if it's just like ice cold, you have to mix glycerine with water in a spray bottle. So when you do that, you just spray it on the bottle, and then the water droplets stick. And then it won't, it will look as if it just came out of the fridge, and that it's condensation. Okay, so you might want to rehearse the action now of like what you want to do. So for mine, ours, it was actually like a bottle, like pouring the beer. So we did actually like a couple of tests before, just to see like the framing, how it looks like. So you want to do like a few tests just to make sure that it looks right, and then only start to go for like the real thing. So I think what really helps here is that if you're at home, a monitor would really help, because you're actually like pouring the liquid, or like you're setting up the food, you're animating it. You kind of want to have like a monitor to kind of see like what's the framing like while you're away. So yeah, like a monitor really helped. So it helps with like exposure, helps with framing, helps with like focus, and it's kind of like a flip, so you can actually see the screen while you're working. After you get your first shot, then just like progress according to your storyboard. So by this stage, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's just that every time you change the scene, your lighting setup has to change as well. For ours, the final shot is a bit different from the first few shots. So then we had to light it slightly differently, but it was just a matter of shifting the lights a few centimeters away, increasing the intensity, that kind of stuff. So just like use your eye, basically. If it looks good, just experiment a bit, make sure it looks good, and you should be well on your way, especially if you did your research in pre-production. Okay, so I think following those guidelines, you should be well on your way to creating a commercial at home and being able to put that in your portfolio, or like show your friends or family that it's something you can do, something professional looking or right in the comfort of your home. So if you have any questions, just send me a message, email me, or like type it in the YouTube comments. I'm totally open to answering any questions you have. Thanks so much for watching, and I think yeah, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, follow us, follow our Facebook, follow our Instagram, all the other YouTuber content stuff. But I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching.